the sensation of being in that Saturn V rocket at liftoff?
It's an impressive piece of machinery, as you can see. It's historic, and it's maybe a little unnerving when you climb up and get on top of that thing.
The problem with the fuel became really critical, and it got, in my recollection, dead silence in mission control, which is very unusual. And I called 60 seconds, and then I called 30 seconds, and then I heard Buzz say, as you heard on the here a moment ago, contact, engine stop. And we knew they were on the ground, hopefully right side up, and I said, we copy you down. And then Neil came very calmly, said, Houston Tranquility Base here, the Eagle has landed. And I was so excited I couldn't even pronounce tranquility. It came out twang at first.
Happened to be driving down NASA 1, and the moon was right ahead of me, up about 25, 30 degrees. And I had this feeling of being disconnected, in that I could see the moon. It didn't look any different from the way it had any other night. And yet I knew that some folks that I knew, Neil and Buzz, were up there on it, and that shortly they were going to be walking on it, and I was going to be talking to them. And I just couldn't get over this almost feeling of science fiction.
Yes, we had a used piece of equipment that was a solar wind collector, and it was essentially a window shade stretched out on a pole. And after we had put the window shade back after our collection box, and Alan hit his golf ball, I used that staff as a javelin. So we consider that the first Lunar Olympics, one golf shot, one javelin throw.
And you know, he told me that the javelin went further than the golf ball, is what he told me earlier, didn't he?
By about that far, by about 4 inches.
It was wonderful.
Quiet.
For several reasons. One is that if anything happens, it's going to happen on the surface, and I still come home. The other is that through my flying career, I was always a single-seat fighter pilot, and I liked to be by myself, and I didn't like to be responsible for a lot of other people. And the third was, after 4 days with those two guys,
I had the best job because I was looking around, seeing this beautiful scenery that we're going over, and being the travel guide, if you will, for the science team in mission control. And so it was, I think I had the best job.
Back in those days, Pismo Beach, California was the dune buggy heaven. Anybody who owned a dune buggy wanted to run it on Pismo Beach. So we decided we would run the rover on Pismo Beach. And we were out there one day. Jack was all suited up in a pressure garment, and I was in my just flight suit riding herd on him. And we were maneuvering around the sand there when suddenly we heard this huge roar. And behind us over a dune came a big dune buggy, and he had lots of horsepower. But he obviously put the brakes on when he was in the air, because when he landed on our side of the hill, he stuck. And his eyes got as big as saucers. He put it in reverse, backed over the hill, and never came back.
They gave us a reverse gear, John, but you couldn't, they had no rear view mirror, so you couldn't see behind you. And so, and you look back and you're looking at the back of your helmet, and so to turn this thing around, you did a U-turn. Well, if that didn't work, John got on his side, I got on my side, and we just picked it up and turned it around. And so, I mean, you felt like Superman up there picking up your car and driving on. It was a great vehicle, revolutionized lunar surface exploration.
And I'd just like to close by repeating a famous quote that is, "There are no passengers on spaceship Earth. We are all crew members. We're all astronauts on spaceship Earth." Thank you very much.